We're so excited to have you guys here for our Talk Tuesday Live. We're going to be talking about the software off and on over the next year or so. So this is a lead funnel. So for those of you who understand the importance of leads, I always like to point out that the most important part of a funnel, a leads funnel or a sales funnel or a pipeline, is always the bottom part. It's the closed deals, right? And so we really want to talk about how to make sure that when you are capturing leads, you're bringing people, into your inbox. They're signing up for your webinar, they're signing up for your lead magnets, or perhaps you have a click to buy product. So in other words, they're just going to a landing page where you're asking them to buy your product or service. And if they don't, then you need to nurture them. If they do, that's fantastic. Continue to nurture them because they can buy again and again and again from you. So we want to talk about capturing leads, how to make sure that they're coming into your software properly, making sure that you're nurturing them. So if they're not quite ready to buy, because, you never know where someone is on the buying scale or the buying cycle, so to speak. They may be ready to buy, in 6 months, but they're not ready to buy right now or in 3 weeks. We just don't know what's going on in people's lives. So you want to make sure that you're staying in relationship with them and continuing to nurture and build that relationship with them. And then, of course, the last part is the close part. And we're going to dig deeper into all three of these. And then we're going to show you one of my favorite parts of the software, which is the dashboard, because that gives you real-time information on what's going on in your pipeline and what's going on with your revenue and what your close rate looks like. So
yeah, and I'll say, I didn't hear if you said this earlier, that we have used a lot of different software. I mean, we have tried all the different email marketing softwares, from the least expensive to the most expensive. We have had all different kinds of landing page and sales page and survey forms and appointment scheduling. And we love this software because it brought all of that under one umbrella. And so we're just going to talk through, like Kirsten said, and tell you some of the features that this software offers. And we are amazed that we can offer it for $97 a month.
Yeah, I do want to say, I remember a conversation. I think we were using ClickFunnels and Constant Contact, and something wasn't working. And you guys, if you know Jeannie, she's always so laid back and easygoing. I'm the one that's like 90 miles an hour in like 3 seconds, but she's really laid back. And I just remember one day she's like, it has been like 9 hours in the past 3 days that I've been trying to resolve this problem. And ClickFunnels says it's Constant Contact, and Constant Contact says it's ClickFunnels. I can't take it anymore. Like, she was just so mad because, again, you have other things to do and you're wasting all of this time trying to get a problem resolved, and they're pointing their fingers at each other. And so, again, when we started finding software that could be all in one, we were like, this is awesome because there's no one to point fingers to. It's all in one place. So if there's a problem, it's right here and we can get it resolved quickly. So that was really important to us.
Yeah, it was. And there's also some people use Zapier to connect different softwares together. And then for no apparent reason, Zapier will just stop working. And then you don't know until somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I'm not getting, I requested this lead magnet and I don't know where it is. And then you go, oh no, how long has it stopped working? And it's just so frustrating. So we're really excited to show you what we found.
Yes.
So capturing new leads. Obviously, this is kind of the top of the funnel, where you need to get in front of people and kind of entice them with something that that might pique their interest and potentially convert them into sales. So in this case, we're talking about, websites, landing pages, drag and drop surveys and forms. So if you can get somebody to fill out a survey or a form, then you can then get them into the software and you can nurture them. If you can get them on an appointment, there's appointment scheduling software, and that replaces things like Acuity scheduling or Schedule Once or Calendly. You would no longer need any of those softwares. This one does all of that and more.
Yep. And we're going to break down why it's a little bit important. So first of all, you could actually house your website on here and as many landing pages as you want. It's unlimited. And so our 6-figure business coaching website is still hosted on WordPress because I think we paid for like 3 or 4 years for hosting for that. But Jeannie has recently moved her marketing agency. She's moved that website over to the software. So for those of you, it's going to save you money because you're not paying for hosting anymore. You can have everything in one place, and it's really user-friendly to create a website or a landing page. And so that's one of the things that we love. Again, the unlimited part is huge, because with a lot of other software, it'll have a great introductory price, but then if you get past a certain amount of landing pages, then, or funnels, they're saying to you, oh, you can't have more than this unless you go up. So that was something really, really important to us. The same thing with the surveys, right? Unlimited. So you can have as many as you want. And just to give you guys an idea of how we use surveys or forms is, let's say, for example, I've invited you to be a guest on our Talk Tuesday live. I would send you a form where you would actually tell us what your talk is about, like the title of it. You would give us a little bio about yourself. We would ask you to put your photograph that we can use for marketing, your URL, and whatever you want to use as a free gift. So we're able to send that out to people. I'll send that form out, and then it comes back into the software, so I know where it is. I know how to find it really quickly because it's attached to that person's information in the CRM part of the software, and that stands for Customer Relationship Management Software. So this is just one of the ways that we use a form or a survey, but there's lots of different ways that you can use them. And having everything, again, in one place, it's not just a matter that you can create all of these things in one place. It's the fact that everything that comes in is linked to your CRM. So every single conversation, every single text message, every single form that happens with someone that we've captured, so to speak, is in one place. And that's fantastic. It also gives us a great way to take notes. So I may make a note that says, Rebecca turned in her form. I've sent her 2 dates. I sent her October 6th and October 25th, waiting to hear back from her. And then I can set a task for myself to remind myself next week, if I haven't got her, she hasn't given me her dates yet, I need to reach back out to her and do that. So as you can see, with everything being in one place, it just allows you to stay super organized. And that makes a huge difference because, again, you can capture a ton of leads, but if you don't have structure and system to stay in contact with those leads, and not just talking about automated, but staying in touch with them for things like follow-ups or notes that where you had a conversation. If you don't have that part, then, or it's disconnected, that can cost you a lot of time and money, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the surveys and forms, this can replace if you've ever used SurveyMonkey, which is free, but you have to set it up. And if you want your branding on it, then you have to pay for the extra paid version. And plus, you never know if that's, you're going to have to take the information from that and drop it into your CRM, whereas this does that automatically for you. And on the right-hand side, you can see the teeth whitening example. And right in there where it asks for a name, address, probably a phone number and things, that's a form. So that can be created and dropped on into any web page, funnel, anywhere that you want it. So it's really fantastic. And there's an unlimited number of those as well. And you can create your own. So, we have some standard blocks like, first name or full name or email. But then if you want to ask people certain questions specifically about your business or something you want to know about them before they get into your business, then you can really easily do it in here.
Yes. So the next thing is online appointment scheduling. So in the past, when we've used Calendarly or Schedule Once, those things would come in through that software, but then we either have to use Zapier to connect it to a CRM, or we would have to manually put it in there, which is a pain. So this way, when someone books an appointment with us, it automatically creates them in the CRM as a contact. We know exactly, what link they use to book a call with us. Did that link come from our webinar? Did that link come from one of our videos? We know when people are coming in and where they're coming from. And when someone books a call with us, we actually have a form that they fill out. So we have a little bit of information, and that's whether it's a discovery call or a coffee chat, or even one of our coaching clients is booking a one-on-one. Those forms allow us to have the information that we need before we jump on the call with them. So hopefully, as you can see, it's kind of all working together, and it just makes things so easy because it's all in one place.
Yeah. Okay, this is the fun part and also the challenging part, and sometimes the part that gets forgotten, and that's nurturing leads. So once you've put out that landing page with that great lead magnet, your free tip sheet, and someone signs up for it, they're raising their hand and saying, yes, I want more information. So first thing you're going to do is send it to them, but then don't just leave it there. Now you have an opportunity to quote unquote nurture them. So maybe that includes sending them another email. Just say, hey, what was your favorite tip in our tip sheet? Or maybe that's a voice message that you can send to them. If you collect their email in the form that they fill out, you can send them a voice message that just leaves a message for them, and it can be your voice. Go ahead.
If you collect their phone number, not their email account.
Yeah.
So some forms will ask for email address, which allows you to email them. But if you ask for their phone number, then that allows you to message them. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you. So you can drop, voicemails, you can leave them, you can send them text messages, and you can set all this up to automatically go out. We call it a workflow. You can have them tagged that there was somebody who signed up for this particular lead magnet. So if you wanted to create a report that showed all the people who signed up for that lead magnet, you can do that with just a couple clicks. So lots and lots of ways to nurture your leads.
Yeah, and I think this is cool too, because they have an app, which I love. So if we're in the middle of a conversation with someone, they're texting, or we're having an email conversation with them, it actually comes to our phone. So if I'm out and about, I can actually address it right then. Or of course I can wait till I get back, home or to the office to deal with it. But I do like the fact, especially if it's something time sensitive, that, I don't have to worry about missing it. And so that's fantastic too, when you're having communication with someone. I think that one of the things that we're not utilizing as much as we should is the voicemail drops. That's one of the things we keep talking about using more. But there's just all these amazing bells and whistles. And what we like to tell people is you don't have to use every feature right away, right? So for a lot of our things, we only ask for email addresses. So our campaigns are just email addresses, because we know when someone doesn't know who we are, they're less likely to want to give us a phone number, but they will give us their email address. But what happens is if we see that they've signed up for something else, then we have an opportunity to try to get them on a call with us. And when they book a call, they have to give us their phone number. So there's just so many ways to think about this, and you don't have to use all of the bells and whistles right off of the bat. I feel like it's a software that is something that you can grow with, and the company is amazing. So they're always making it better and better and bringing on new features, which I think is awesome, because again, when we made the switch to the software, one of the questions that we asked each other was, do we think we could use the software for the next 5 to 10 years? And so the answer to that was yes, which is why we moved everything, which is a little bit of a pain. But again, it's going to grow with you and with your business.
Yeah. And a couple other things I wanted to mention as part of nurturing is you're hopefully doing email marketing, whether that's just sending one out once a month, or what we do and encourage our clients to do is send out a video that they've created every week. So they're sending out original content every week. And this can really be easily set up in the software. And then you can see, if a particular person opened it, if they, booked a call with you, everything's happening in the software. So every communication with them is documented in the software. And that includes emails that come in from them if they respond to your email. That includes text messages. If they text you, then all of that communication is happening in the software. So you don't have to go, oh, I need to look back on something, a conversation I had. Is it in this inbox, or did it happen over there? Is it on my phone? It's all happening in the software.
Yeah, it definitely keeps you way more organized.
Oh, yay. I love it.
And the more organized you are, the more closings you're going to have.
Absolutely.
People often want to generate lots and lots and lots of leads, but there's a very good chance you have lots and lots of leads that you could actually turn into clients if you were just spending the time to nurture them and build a relationship with them. And that's what the software does. It makes it a lot easier for you to do that.
Yep. So the last section, which is Kirsten's favorite, is close more sales. And I guess should be everyone's favorite, because this is how you're going to grow your business. It's great to be good at bringing those leads in. It's great at being good at nurturing them. But at some point, you've got to ask them, hey, is now the time for you to make the step forward and in your business? So we've got something in here called a pipeline. And I personally didn't know what a pipeline was, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. And in this case, we've got lots of different pipelines, but one of them is a sales pipeline. And Kirsten, I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about the magic of a sales pipeline.
And I want to say, I think this is so interesting. Like Jeannie said, she wasn't really familiar with the idea of a pipeline. because what happens in large corporations, which is where Jeannie worked before, large corporations, marketing and sales are really divided, aren't they? So you were always on the marketing side. And so a sales pipeline is really more on the sales side. But, if you own a business, you're wearing the marketing hat and the sales hat. So having everything in one place is really awesome. So what happens is, let's say someone books an appointment with us to talk about joining our program, the Marketing VA Advantage, because their marketing virtual assistant can help them with a lot of these things as well. So if they book an appointment with us, it's automatically going to go into an opportunity, which is a part of the pipeline. And it lets me know, when they booked, and it puts them in one specific place. And we're going to show you a little bit more about this in just a second. But it allows me to see how many opportunities do I have at any given moment. And if they're on that call with me and they choose to buy our program, I move them over a column, and that's going to trigger all of the welcome emails to go out to the program. So that's automating all of that as well. If I have a conversation with them and they're a really hot lead, but they need to talk to their husband or spouse, or they are thinking about some other things that are going on, I can move them over as a hot lead. And that will send out a sequence of emails that are going to nurture them and try to get them back on a call or get them to go ahead and pull the trigger and buy our program. So you also could have lost or cold. So for example, if I'm talking to someone and our program's not the right fit for them, I won't even offer it to them. Maybe I'll give them some tips or pointers on what they could do, but I'm just going to move that over, and it's not really going to count as my pipeline value because they're not going to buy. It's just not the right fit for them. So having a pipeline allows you to know, okay, these are the opportunities I have. These are people that have booked with me. These are people that purchase, but these are people that are hot. So these are the people that I need to stay on and continue to nurture, because there's a very good chance that along with the automated nurturing sequences that we set up, I can do things like send them a voicemail drop, or I could text them, or maybe I see them in a Facebook group and I say hi to them again. So there's ways for me to continue one-on-one to nurture that relationship, to move them closer to becoming a client. And it's awesome to wake up in the morning and to see what your pipeline value is, right? So it gives you an actual value. And so if you wake up in the mornings and you see that your pipeline is sitting there and there's like $80,000 of revenue in your hot column, doesn't that motivate you to want to reach out to people? Oh, yeah. So for me, it's I get up and I think, okay, these people are all ideal for our program. They've actually shown interest because they had a phone conversation. So I want to continue to nurture them because I know they're wasting their time doing $3 an hour tasks. They're not marketing their business the way they should or as much as they could. And a marketing virtual assistant could be a game changer for them. So I kind of feel like I have an obligation to continue the relationship and to make sure that we're ready and we're still in front of them when they are ready to buy. Because again, you have that buying cycle, timing's everything. So
yeah, I was just going to say, and as they go into each of the areas, they're columns actually, when they book a call or when they're a hot lead or when they're cold, it tags them. We've set up the software so it tags them. So if Kirsten says, oh, I've got 5 people who are hot leads and I want to reach out to them, she can choose to either send each one individually, a text message or an email very easily, or she could choose all 5 and say, hey, we had a great conversation the other day. I'd love to jump back on a call and answer any questions you have. So, whether you want to send something, like I said, just individually or to a whole group of people, this whole system makes it just really, really easy.
So the next thing is collecting payments, which is really, really awesome. For those of you that have a click and buy product or service. So we have, for us, it's important that people book a call with us because, again, we need to make sure we're a right fit for them and vice versa. But for those of you that are selling maybe a $49 course or, a $300 one-on-one coaching session, that can really be done through automation. And so it's fantastic to, again, have all of that here so they can just click and pay and buy your product or service. And that makes a huge difference. And again, you get to see exactly what they purchased, when they purchased it. So it's really easy to again, nurture that relationship. Okay. I think that's why we found it, because Jeannie has a marketing agency. So It really wasn't used by just individual business owners. I think it's becoming more popular in the past 6 months. But when we first found it, it was really just agencies using it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a pipeline report. So this is when you open up in the morning, you have the dashboard, and this is where you have your opportunities. So if you see this, so the big 23 in the middle, but you've closed 5 sales. You have 14 that are open and you have 4 that are lost. And so if you look to the right of that, it gives you your pipeline value. So basically you have $6,000 worth of business that closed. You have $8,400 of business that's available, and you have $4,800 of business that you've lost. So obviously what you want to think about is that $8,400 of business. Can you get in there and work with those relationships, talk to those people, and move them into your program or your product or service? And I said, I think this is very motivating to get up in the morning and to see this, because it really does keep you on track. You know, larger corporations are always tracking every penny that comes in, and they're projecting what, you know, Q1 is going to be and what Q2 is going to be. And that seems overwhelming for a lot of business owners, especially if you're a solopreneur. But this makes it really easy for you to start having some of that information that large companies use to make decisions, which is really awesome. Mm-hmm. The other thing is it has your conversion rate. So to the far right, it's letting you know what is your conversion rate, what's your percentage of closing. And this is something that, you know, as the person who's selling, we're always going to want to improve that. So for example, again, if you have a click to buy $297 course, you know, what's your close rate? Can you improve your landing page? Can you improve your webinar? Can you improve, you know, any parts of your marketing so you're getting that conversion rate higher? You know, if it's like us and you're booking a call, how can I be a better salesperson? How can I work to really connect with those people on the phone and to get the conversion rate up? And so it gives you the information that you need to improve as like in real time. So as things are moving along. So the next part is kind of like the graphs, which we're just going to skip that part. We're a little bit further down. So this is one of my favorite parts right here, which is the task. So I don't know about you guys, but we all have a lot going on, right? You know, my to-do list, there's videos that need to be scripted. There's a video that needs to be recorded. You know, there's some emails that I need to send out to people who are guests for Talk Tuesday. You don't really even get started on Jeannie's list because it's like a mile long. But what I love about this is the tasks that I have in here are specifically related to people that are my software. So in other words, it's conversations that I need to have with people who are, you know, an opportunity. So maybe it's a conversation I need to have with someone I spoke with a few days ago and follow up with them and find out if they have any questions, so they want to jump on another call. Maybe it's a conversation that I had with one of the people that's in our program and I'd answered a question for them. And so maybe I remind myself to like reach back out and say, hey, were you able to resolve that issue? Did the advice I give you work, or do you need anything else? So this allows me to get up every day and know who I need to speak with within the software. And it allows me to take really good notes so I know exactly what I need to do with that particular information. And to me, that is like a game changer. Because again, if you're kind of using pen and paper and you're trying to keep all of this written down, you are going to lose closed sales. There's no way around it. You're going to lose closed sales.
And even if you're trying to do it in like a Google Calendar, it's very difficult to keep track of, you know, oh, I know I need to get back with Susie. Well, I can search for her, but to be honest, the search tool in there is not very good. I've searched the exact term and it couldn't find it. So you just have to go through, okay, now I got to go through and look every single day to see when I'm supposed to follow up with Susie versus, you know, hopping into this task box and it will tell you, oh, look. In this case, follow up with Wanda. Oh, I'm late. I was supposed to do that in January. These are some old numbers. Just so you know.
Yeah. So I hope that this makes kind of sense to you guys about how having everything in one place can allow you to see, you know, how many leads are you bringing in, how many opportunities, you know, what do you have available, what's solid out there that you could actually turn into sales, and then what's your conversion rate and how can you improve on it. And then this part, again, staying organized so that you're following up with the people that are hot, the people that are closest to being ready to buy. Because we love, you know, automation and nurturing email sequences and nurturing text messages and nurturing voicemail drops that are all automated are amazing. But sometimes you have to have the human connection, right? Sometimes you just need to reach out to someone and say, hey, how was your trip to Scotland? I'm really looking forward to talking with you and hearing about your trip and finding out if you're ready to move forward, right? So the reason you're going to know how to do that is because you made the task before they went to Scotland. You made a note that they're going to Scotland and you want to follow up with them on this date. And so you open that up and you seem like a rock star because you remember things about people. And that's actually done in another section called notes, but we're not going to get into that today. I think we're going to kind of teach you guys the software over the next month or so, the next few months, and just kind of giving you ideas, because again, we want to talk to you about lead generation, which is what the sales part of the software was talking about today, nurturing those leads and then closing those leads. So again, the software has a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of things you can do with it, but it can also be a little bit overwhelming. So we want to kind of walk you guys through it kind of step by step and then answer any questions that you may have about it.
Yeah. I mean, the most important thing we want you to understand is that it's an all-in-one software. And so, all the parts and pieces that you right now are probably spending money on email marketing, and you're spending money on funnels, and you're spending money on scheduling software, and you're spending money on doing surveys, and it's kind of all in different places and it's all different expenditures. So we want to encourage you, if you can pull all that together, which is what we've found this software to do. But not only that, we've met the people behind the software and they're amazing. And what actually happened was it was an ad agency owner who got together with a tech person who could write the code. And together they said, all right, let's make something that people can actually use and not have to use all these different softwares. So I'm just going to tell you this one little secret, and that is that, they're getting better and better, and they're adding more wonderful parts and pieces just to make the whole thing work better, more user-friendly. But I'm going to share a little secret that we'll talk about another day, but you can actually do social media scheduling in the software. So yet another expenditure that you don't need to have anymore. And I know that's a big one. So it's exciting. And Kirsten mentioned earlier WordPress. It does actually support WordPress. So if you have a WordPress site, you can copy it in here. So again, no more paying for hosting, and that's usually the most expensive part of a website.
Yes.
So we didn't tell you where it is. It's called From Leads to Sales. And we'll put a link in the comments. So you are welcome to go to the page. You'll see the page that we just talked about. If you have any questions, you're welcome to direct message either Kirsten or myself, and we will be happy to jump on a call with you and walk you through the demo and help you better understand how fabulous it is. But at the end of the day, it's a tool, a software that we love and we think is so valuable that we really wanted you to know it exists, and we wanted to share it with you to see if it can, help you be more organized in your business, spend less money on softwares that you don't need, and spend less time being frustrated and fixing errors that are happening. So, and the other thing was that the software is $97 a month. So it's not expensive. And you're probably, if you add up all the things that you're spending right now, from website hosting, I've already mentioned these email marketing softwares, scheduling softwares, I'm sure it actually adds up to more than that. So,
yeah, and you do have connected to something called Mailgun. And so that is an additional charge of $35, but I think that allows you to send up to 50,000 emails a month. Mm-hmm. So again, because that Mailgun is actually what sends the emails and tracks all of that information in the software. Mm-hmm. And so again, if you're looking at less than $150, it's really, really amazing. Yeah. I do want to add one other caveat to this, is the fact that, with Jeannie and I coaching our clients on hiring marketing virtual assistants and helping them with everything from their video marketing to their lead magnets, it was really interesting because so many of our clients are more like me. They're not really tech savvy. So they have all this frustration with the software that they're using. And so one of the things that we talked about was, because we believe in the software so much, we're able to train their marketing virtual assistants on the software. So for any of you who've watched any of Jeannie's Canva tutorials, she's very good at step-by-step tutorials. And that's something that we're constantly building that library of, is information to not only help our clients, but to also help their virtual assistants to use the software. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. So we appreciate you all being here today. And Again, if you have any questions about this software, you know, we love it. We believe in it. We stand behind it. We know it's going to be something that's just so. That's Kirsten and I'm Jeannie, and we're with Six Figure Business Coaching, and we have an amazing program that we think is amazing called the Marketing VA Advantage, which will help you hire an affordable marketing virtual assistant who will help you utilize leverage video in your marketing, which is the most popular type of marketing on every platform. So feel free to reach out to us and we'll talk to you about that too.